You start to really get the picture that Jesus spent more time healing than he did teaching and preaching. Jesus was absolutely passionate about reaching people's needs. And if I could be bold enough to say this, if your relationship with God hasn't impacted your needs in your life, perhaps there's something messed up with your relationship with God. A lot of us grew up, if you grew up in the church, with religion and God being like another thing that gets added to your life. Like you have your responsibility for your job, your responsibility for your family, and you have your responsibility for God. If God isn't filling you up, then there's a problem. Okay? Because God's about meeting needs. Now, again, understand, please don't misinterpret me, because some of y'all are just fun and like to misinterpret things. I'm not preaching a health and welfare gospel here, okay? I'm not saying that if you believe in Jesus enough and get down and pray, then, you're going to have a Lexus tomorrow and a Hummer the next day. And you're going to own General... No, you don't even want to own General Motors. I take that back. The day after, you're going to own Honda. I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying is if God isn't impacting your life in some way, if you can't say right now, okay, if you can't say right now, my life is better because of my relationship with God, you may be playing church. And let me tell you something, playing church drains you out really fast. If you can't say, you know what, my relationship with God, my experience with God, my church, all that package, if it is not making my life better, then probably you're playing a cultural Christian thing out of a sense of guilt, obligation, or raising that really starts to drain you out, and you're like, oh, I gotta go do the God thing again. Jesus, people followed him. Why? Because he was meeting their needs. Because he was saying, look, you're lacking something, here I got something for you. I got something that's going to fill you up. So, verse 3, Jesus climbs a hill and sat down, that's English, sat down with his disciples around him. Let's get away! It was nearly time for the Jewish Passover celebration. Verse 5, Jesus soon saw a huge crowd of people coming to look for him. And when we say huge crowd, if you read down a few verses, you're going to see that this was, it's in verse 10, but that the men alone numbered about 5,000. Now, we don't know how many people are there, obviously. We know how many men there were. 5,000. But let's do some rough math, and maybe we're going to be somewhere close. We know that women follow Christ. We know that women are often more spiritually receptive than men are. So let's say that at least there was one woman to every man. That gets us to... You're so good at math! 10,000 people. Somebody said 15, you couldn't see my hand. 9,500 for you, Ken. Now, if we throw in the average that says, you know what, we're going to give every set of those one child, not the 2.5 children that we have in America. Some of you have the 0.5 children. We're praying for your child. But we just put one, that's 15,000 people, a conservative estimate of 15,000 people. Last night, I had to take this RV back, and I'm driving it back past the Idaho Center, and the Warped Tour was in town. Drove by just in time to see right after somebody rear-ended somebody else at a stoplight. That's a bad deal. But I'm watching crowds, lines of cars and cops directing traffic out of the Idaho Center. I know when we did God and Country, there was somewhere around 10-ish thousand people there, so you're missing 5,000 out of this estimate. And it takes, if you were there and you tried to leave right away, it takes you like an hour and a half of sitting in your car. Okay, you're looking at Jesus is sitting on a hill watching 15,000 people stream across the wilderness towards him. Okay? Like, oh wow. Hey boys, there's people coming. There's 12 of us, 13 with me, and there's 15,000 of them. Perhaps we should run.